Hello.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. One greetings to you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. So glad to be here.
Thank you so much for honoring this invitation. It's a big deal for us. So we'll just wait for people to join us.
Okay. And where will you be streaming from? I'd love to connect as well on Facebook. Is this on your page?
Okay. All right. It's 6 o'clock already, and it's an hour program. So while we wait for others to join us or watch the live video later, I'm going to proceed to read your profile.
And are you streaming from your page or from your Academy page?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yes. Where are you streaming from on Facebook?
Okay, I'm streaming from Nigeria in West Africa.
Yes. On Facebook. What's the page there where it's streaming?
My personal page,
Oh,
Adelano S.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you once again, Dr. Joy, for joining today's webinar. So we'll wait for people to join us, and those who can't join us live would watch the live video later. We're going to share it on other platforms, on WhatsApp, on YouTube, so that people can access it. So I'll just go ahead to read your profile, and you go ahead with your teaching. Then, if we have questions from the audience, you take the question, and it's just a 1 hour teaching. It's a 1 hour teaching. We are rounding up by 2 p.m. EST, your time. Your time. So, Dr. Joy Morgan is an author, a business coach, a leadership consultant, and a highly sought after international speaker. She has a Bachelor's of Science degree in Civil Engineering from University of Delaware, a Master's degree in Education Administration from Rutgers University, and a doctorate in Strategic Leadership from Regent University. As a leadership consultant, Dr. Morgan specializes in working with executives in both corporate and non-profit sectors, providing expertise in enhancing communication strategies, identifying and leveraging individual leadership style, and cultivating cohesive team dynamics to optimize operational efficiency and financial performance. Under the umbrella of Dr. Joy Morgan Motivates, that is JMM. I'm right. She provides coaching services tailored for emerging speakers, guiding them in refining their public speaking capabilities and effectively monetizing their message. Additionally, Dr. Joy Morgan offers support to aspiring authors in the process of writing, publishing, and marketing their books, which led to her establishing of My Joy Publishing House, where she assumes the role of the editor-in-chief, complementing these endeavors through JMM. Dr. Joy Morgan facilitates an entrepreneurship program designed to mentor new and aspiring business owners, aiding them in successfully starting, growing, and scaling their businesses. Dr. Joy Morgan has been prominently showcased on television and radio platforms to share her inspirational insights. Her motivational messages have resonated within diverse settings, encompassing educational institutions, Fortune 500 companies, and non-profit organizations. She has headlined numerous conferences as a keynote speaker throughout the continental United States, as well as St. Thomas, Qatar, Canada, and Bermuda. Dr. Joy is also an esteemed author with notable publications including Roadmap to Destiny, a 21-day devotional for those on the pathway to purpose, and Get Up, five steps to bouncing back when life knocks you down. Thank you so much, Dr. Jem Morgan, for putting your all into imparting life. Your profile is really, really inspiring, and I hope that people would learn from this webinar. People would know how to go about their businesses, especially when it comes to team management and how to build a sustainable brand. And thank you once again for honoring our invitation. I really appreciate this. Personally, I am grateful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. I'm so excited to pour into leaders or aspiring leaders, those who are going to be joining in with us. And so I'm excited to begin and share my content with you. So I would like to use my slides if at all possible. Hopefully I can do that. So I will go ahead and share my screen in just a moment, but I want to say welcome. And if you know anything about leadership, you know you cannot lead if you don't have any followers. It's so extremely important for us to have followers as leaders. And so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and perhaps maybe you'll be able to mute your line, and that way it'll come across just a little clearer as I go ahead and begin to share. Let's see. Are you able to, on your end, allow me to share my slides?
Okay. You can just go ahead and teach if you can't share the slide.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like it's going to allow me to just pull them up. So I'm just going to take a moment. While I'm doing that, I'll let you know who I am. As it was already stated, I am Dr. Joy Morgan. I live in New Jersey in the United States, and I have a very diverse background. I actually went to college for civil engineering. I went to school because I was, good in math and science. And so I decided to go ahead and really, do something with the math and science background. But at some point, I realized that that is just not what I was called to do. And so as a result, I began to go back to school so that I can find out really what I am passionate about. And what I realized along the way is that I'm really passionate about leading others, specifically leading people into their purpose and to their destiny. And so as I did that, I found out that people most often want to start businesses. They want to become a public speaker. They want to become a leader. They want to become an author and write books. And so I really began to dig into leadership in that way and went to school. And I recently received my doctoral degree in strategic leadership. And so doing that has really been eye-opening for me in terms of why our organizations often are not succeeding. It's because we are not properly leading them. We are not cultivating effective teams. We're not collaborating, as it says in our session title today. We're not collaborating and moving across other aisles and getting other people involved and partnering so that we can make sure that our organizations are a success. And so it's important that as we lead, we consider ourselves and what we can do to improve our leadership skills so that we can get the most out of those who follow us. And so that really requires a level of intentionality. It requires that we take the time out and we get to know who the people that serve us are. It's important that we get to know what their skill set is. It's important for us to get to know how they're motivated to become their best. And so I really love the subject of leadership. And as a leader, as it was already mentioned, I have been in business now for about 8 years for myself. Before that, I worked for a university where I was training other young, actually young girls to become interested in the fields of math, science, and engineering. And so through that, I have had to develop their leadership skills. And I'm actually I created a program for girls called the Future Leaders Institute, and where I'm teaching them the skills as young girls, teenagers, so that, because I believe that young people are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they are the leaders of today. And so, again, I just say all that to say that this is definitely a passion of mine, that I really believe that it's something that we all really should take the time out to become better at. And I want to applaud all of you who are watching today, and even for my gracious host who has allowed me to come and present today, because I believe that this is something that is definitely going to help you to have more effectiveness in your fields. So let's get into this a little bit, and let's talk about the definition of team building. And hopefully now I think I have added my slides. Let me know if you're able to see them. Can you see my slides? Let me know if you're able to see them. I was able to upload them into the
I can see your slides. We can see your slides, but it's okay to just see us.
You said you cannot see them. Hopefully. Okay. All right. So if you can't see them, then I'm just going to teach. All right. So definition of team building. Team building is the process of enhancing the effectiveness and the cohesion of a group of individuals working together towards a common goal. So I'm going to say that again, that team building is the process of enhancing the effectiveness and the cohesion of a group of individuals working towards a common goal. So that is such a loaded definition, because it's important for us to understand that when we are a leader and we have followers and we have a group of people, we want to make sure that that group of individuals knows what the goal is. So the first thing I want to say to those of you who are leading, who have a team, who have a group of followers, perhaps you have a group of people that are serving you as employees, first thing I want you to consider is, what is the goal of your organization and what is the goal of your team members? It is important for them to know what it is that they are working for and what they are working towards. Once they know the vision, Once they know the goal, now what you want to do is make sure that you are building that team in such a way that you are enhancing their collaboration. I love the 3 C's. The 3 C's are you want to make sure that you have character. You want to make sure you have competence. Character first is so important. You want to make sure that these people are going to represent your brand well. You want to make sure they're going to represent your organization well. You want to do some background on who they are, because their reputation is going to become your reputation. So you want to make sure that the people that serve on your team are of good character. Then you want to make sure that they have chemistry with you and the rest of your team. Why is that important? Because we're going to be working together towards this common goal. So you want to make sure that they get along with you. You want to make sure they get along with other team members. You want to make sure that they have the type of personality that other people are attracted to them and they want to work with them. They are like-minded with you and your organization. And then the third C in that is competence. Do they know how to do the job? If you bring them onto your team, if you hire them, are they competent in the area in which you have called them to be on the team? Those 3 C's, I'm going to say them again: character, chemistry, and competence. Those 3 C's are going to ensure that there is cohesion in your team. And once you have cohesion in your team, you know that you will be more effective in meeting your goal. And so when you are working on team building, there's several different ways in which you can make sure that the team is cohesive. One, you want to make sure that you are improving communication. You want to make sure that as you're leading the team, it's easy for the team to communicate with you as the leader and with one another. So that might mean that you have the right technical resources. If you're using Zoom or StreamYard or something like that for virtual and hybrid meetings, you want to make sure that there are meetings. There should be regular meetings where the team gets to update each other. You get to speak into your team. You get to make sure that the tasks are being done in the way that you would want them to be done. You want to give them a platform to let you know if there's any obstacles or hindrances that would prevent them from doing the job that you've asked them to do. You want to also, number 2, as you are building this team, you want to make sure that you are fostering trust. You want to make sure that the environment is one that everybody trusts one another. Because if you are working in a team and nobody trusts each other, then it's going to be difficult for you to work towards your common goal. So you want to make sure that you have facilitated an environment where people trust one another. And then third, to build a cohesive team, you want to make sure that problem solving is at the peak of your team. You want to make sure that when problems occur, when hindrances and obstacles occur in the team, you want to make sure that there's an avenue, there's a way for people to come to you as a leader and let them know freely that there is a problem and that they are able to get their problem solved. You also want to empower your team to solve their own problems. You as the leader shouldn't be the only problem solver on your team. You need to tap into the intellect and the skills and the experiences that your team members have and allow them to come together and collaborate on how a solution occurs so that they feel invested in the solution. So to build a team and to make sure that it's cohesive, you want to make sure that you are providing activities that help to enhance communication, trust, collaboration, and problem-solving skills. And when you do all of this, ultimately, it's going to lead to an increase in productivity and performance. And I don't know about you, but the teams I'm involved with, the organizations that I'm involved with, I want them to be productive. How about you? Anybody listening today? I want my team to be productive. And for some of us, we're making money in our businesses, right? And we want what we do not to be just productive. We want them to be profitable. And so when you do this, when you put these types of activities in place, it makes sure that you are both productive and profitable. So let's get a little bit more into why team building is important. Number one, when you have a cohesive team, as I've already mentioned, it is going to enhance communication. You will be able to now foster an environment where the team members feel more comfortable sharing ideas, feedback, and information. Your team is so much better when everybody is putting their ideas, sharing their ideas, coming up with ways to improve what it is that you do. And so we're talking about collaboration today, and I want to make sure that we understand what collaboration is. Collaboration really is an opportunity for you to work with other people outside of your team, individuals outside of your team that can help partner with you in getting the goal done for your team. So important. You want to make sure that you're in a position such that your team is solid enough that it's able to go across and reach out externally and partner with other people to meet your goals, right? The other thing that happens in a team that's cohesive is strengthened relationships. I love it when I see a team start to begin to act like family. When your team is cohesive, these are no longer just my fellow employees. Sometimes long lasting relationships can happen as a result of a very tight knit team. And so the stronger the relationships among team members, it creates a beautiful, supportive, and in a cohesive work environment that people are excited to work together. They look forward to coming together and working together. And then if your team is cohesive, this is so important, then conflict resolution is a lot easier. It is inevitable that if people are going to work together, there's going to be conflict. Have you ever experienced conflict where somebody's bumping heads with somebody else, right, on your team? But when you have a cohesive team, when you have a team that has had the skills enhanced, what happens now is they are equipped with the tools they need to be able to address and to resolve conflicts in a constructive way that prevents issues for the future in terms of the conflict, escalating or disrupting what's going on in the team. So when your team is cohesive, when something occurs where maybe two people aren't getting along, there's a disagreement in the group, when we have a tight-knit team, we don't have to worry about that conflict really causing a major disruption in the team at large and in the organization. Team building is so also important because it boosts the morale and the motivation of your team. When you build in these team building activities, it can boost their morale. It will make them excited. They will feel a sense of belonging on the team. So you want to make sure that you are intentional about doing these types of activities. It also helps to foster creativity. If you find yourself in an organization where you feel like we've been doing the same thing the same way forever, when you have a tight-knit team, when you have built a team that's cohesive and collaborative, now we get brand new ideas and you get to be on the cutting edge of what your industry is doing. So that is so important. And so I want to encourage you to do some team building exercises. Let me tell you what you can do to build your team. Training is so important. Train your teams on a regular basis. Make sure that once a year, twice a year, some organizations have the budget so that they can have team training once a month. But that is so important. You may have heard it said this way, that people don't know what they don't know. And so it's your job as the leader to make sure that you teach them. So important that you provide training. So that's one way for you to build a team and to develop team building skills and to foster collaboration. That's number one. Number two, make sure that you are extremely clear on your goals and objectives for the team. Ensure that they know their purpose, make sure that they know the objectives for their job, and make sure that when you have a project, make sure you give them goals. I like to call them SMART goals. You may have heard SMART goals. That's an acronym. SMART. SMART goals. They're specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So if you give your team, let's just have fun with it and say, we're going to build a sandwich. All right. You want to make sure that your team knows what kind of sandwich are we making, right? You want to make sure that somebody else might think they're making some meat and cheese. Somebody else might think they're making peanut butter and jelly, whatever the thing that everybody comes to the team with, the kind of sandwich they want, that's the kind of sandwich they think they're going to make. So make sure the whole team knows what kind of sandwich are we making. Then I want you to consider this. What part does everybody play in making that sandwich? We can't all look for the bread, right? We can't all spread whatever we're going to put on the bread. Make sure that this person knows you're responsible for cutting the sandwich after it's made. You're responsible for making sure that there's meat on the sandwich. You're responsible for making sure when you get the cheese, whatever it is, make sure everybody knows what their role is in making the sandwich. Be that specific in the team building and making sure that everybody knows their job. Because what happens is if we all think we're doing the same thing, then something isn't getting done. Meanwhile, we're bumping heads because we feel like you're doing my job and you should need to get out of my way, right? So these are things that happen in teams. So make sure that you understand and that their team understands exactly what it is they've been called to do. Make sure you understand that they know when you want it done by. So somebody will say, I'll make the sandwich next week. Somebody will say, no, she wants it for lunch. Somebody else will say, well, no, she didn't want that sandwich till next year. So you want to make sure you're very clear in your time constraints. When you're working on a project, you need to tell people the time frame that you want it done. You want to make sure that the objective is realistic. So if you've only got a team of 3 people, and you tell them, I want you to make 500 sandwiches in 20 minutes. Well, that's not realistic. So you want to make sure that as you are setting these goals, you want to make sure there are things that your team can actually do. And you need to provide an environment that your team can tell you as the leader that you've given me a project, but I don't think I can get it done with the tools you've given me, with the time frame that you've given me, with the skill set of team members that you've given me. You need to have an open door policy so that they feel comfortable letting you know they would love to get the job done, but they don't have what they need to get the job done. So these are some of the things that need to be included as a leader. You need to make sure that your team is very, very open and honest with each other, but for you. And it starts with you giving them those types of SMART goals, specific, measurable, that they can see that when I get the job done, this is what you asked for. You asked for 5 sandwiches in 30 minutes. So that when I get the job done, I can go back to you as the leader and say, see, here's my 5 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that you asked for in 30 minutes, right? It's achievable. It's something your team of 3, let's say, can do, and it's timely. That's so, so good. If you are listening today, if you don't get anything else I said, make sure that your team is given goals. Make sure they're given the tools they need, the staff they need. Make sure it's clear so that they understand how to carry out the directives that you've given them. So, so, so important. That leads to everything else we said. The communication. You want to make sure that we're talking about that goal. Make sure there's trust in that team. Make sure that everybody knows the guidelines. This is where you're allowed to get what you need to build the sandwich. This is who you're allowed to talk to. Here's the resources of phone numbers and email addresses that you need to make sure that you get the job done. We make sure that If somebody's not good at cutting bread, we don't put the knife in their hand. We give that job to somebody else who's good at cutting the bread. We want to make sure you go out and we want to make sure you get the mustard or whatever it is that you use for your sandwich. We know you're good at that. And we'll make sure that you do that. But let's not give the knife to the mustard person and the mustard to the knife person. And it's a silly analogy, but it's just for something for us to think about, that so often that's what we do. When we are leading a team, we don't take inventory of who's on our team and what their strengths are. Do you know on your team who's the best at what they do? So you want to make sure that you are really in touch with who your team is so that you can get the best out of them. And then lastly, I'll say this: celebrate the wins. When you do good, when the team does well, make sure you tell them, great job. That was awesome. Make sure you let them know you appreciate them, because when people feel celebrated and when they feel appreciated, they're willing to do something for you again. So sometimes that might mean you give them a little gift. Sometimes you might take your team out for a celebratory dinner or lunch or something, but let them know that you appreciate them. And I'm telling you, it will go such a long way for you as a leader. And again, it will help build the morale and motivation of your team. So I hope those little tidbits helped you. And I would love to answer any questions that someone might have. But I'm telling you, get some goals for your team. Make sure that you are training your team. Make sure that you have an open door policy for feedback, or if people need more to get the job done that you've given them, make sure that they have access to you. And always make sure that as people serve you and your mission and your vision, you want to make sure that they are celebrated and appreciated.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. Thank you so much for this amazing, amazing. I don't know how to qualify it. Thank you. Dr. Joy, thank you so much for this amazing.
I'm hoping it was helpful for you all.
All right, we believe people are going to watch the replay of this video, and one of the things I do to ensure that people watch this is that I upload it on YouTube channels. I download this particular video, send it to you, upload it on YouTube channels so that people would watch the replay in future. I also try to share it on WhatsApp so that people will have access to it. Thank you so much for this. I believe this is going to impact so many people when they're listening to it. Now, do you have any resource or course on team building and collaboration? Do you
Yes.
offer any courses on it so that people will know how to access this course?
Yes. So I have another workshop for you that I was going to invite anybody listening to, that they can come. It's totally free, and we would share and get more into it. My specialty is leadership communication, because in order to build all of these things, we need to be better communicators. We need to know how to share with our team and also to foster that type of communication with others. So I would love to invite you all to my next class called Unmute Yourself. Just like we do in Zoom where you have to unmute yourself, we need to do that with our teams. So I want you to reach out to me. You can go to joymorganmotivates.com. That's joymorganmotivates.com. You can reach out to me that way. You can reach out to me at joymorganmotivates@gmail.com, and I will send you the link for this free class, and I will give you resources. I can give you the slides to that particular workshop that will really help you to take your leadership communication and your team building to another level.
Thank you once again, Dr. Joy Morgan. It's such an honor to have you here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully, I've been a member of your Facebook community um, for the past 12 months. I've been a member of the community
Hmm.
um, where I read up people posts, learn about entrepreneurship and business, leadership tips, and all. Thank you for all you do for woman capacity development, especially for women, because one of
Yes.
the things I'm keen about is gender equality and how to
Yes.
develop women, especially women in Africa, so that they will become resourceful and more productive in
Yes.
whatever sector they find themselves. And I'm going to share this with our community on WhatsApp. I'll share it with them on other platforms so that they can access it. Thank you for also maximizing this time with us. We didn't spend much time, but the value
Yes. Yes.
the,
Yes.
the, the,
Yes.
the value is immeasurable. Thank you so
Yes.
much once more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Do
so
you have
much.
any afterwards to give the people? Is there anything you would like um uh to say, like your last advice for leaders, for women, for youths all over the world? What do you have to say, like a counsel to encourage people?
Yes. So, my encouragement to those of you who are aspiring to be leaders or who are already leaders, here's something that it's not so technical, but I'm learning this myself. Take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself. Self care isn't selfish. And I spoke with a group of leaders yesterday, and we were talking about the importance of self care, making sure that you rest well, making sure that you eat, making sure that you do activities that you enjoy. So often, we as leaders, we always prioritize our other tasks and our other people, and we don't take good care of ourselves. And it's hard to lead from a good place when we don't feel good. And so it's important that we go to the doctor, that we pay attention to our body. So that's number one. I would definitely say that right now in this season, I've really been talking to leaders. And as you just said, women, especially women, we are nurturers, right? We are mothers at heart. We take care of people. And so often we forget to take care of ourselves. So the first thing I would like to say is to make sure that you take care of yourself. Another afterword that I would give is that learning should be fundamental for leadership. Leaders are learners. Leaders are learners. Make sure if you're watching that, write that down. Leaders are learners. That means leaders should be readers. Leaders should be readers. So make sure that you are reading books on leadership. If you have the opportunity to go and further your education, I have to be honest, I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go to school to get my doctoral degree. I never grew up saying I want to be doctor, right? But I recognize that for me to be a better leader to my team, that I needed to get educated. So I want to remind you that leaders are readers, leaders are learners, and so never stop learning. That learning should be a lifelong process. And I don't care how long you've been in leadership, I don't care how high you get, it's never enough. It's never enough. There's always something that you can learn so that you can be a better leader. So, starting with self care, I want you to make sure that you are always positioning yourself to be a leader. And I believe every leader should be led. And so, what do I mean by that? Mentorship. Mentorship is so important. Find somebody that can pour back into you, somebody that knows more than you. You shouldn't be the biggest fish in your pond, right? You want to make sure that you have somebody that you're accountable to, somebody that can help you when they see you getting off track, somebody that you can pick their brain and ask them questions. And you might have different mentors in different areas of your life. So you might have one mentor in family, one mentor in your career, one mentor that helps you in your marriage, right? One mentor that helps you as a parent, whatever it is, you might need different mentors. It takes a village. And so often I think that we are not getting poured back into, and we do all of the pouring. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and find somebody who's doing what you want to do at the level that you want to do it, and ask them. I just would ask my mentors, would you mentor me? Would you take me under your wing? Would you pour into me? Would you help me along the way so that I can be better for the people that I serve? So my top 3 things would be, again, self-care. That's so important. Take care of yourself. Self-care isn't selfish. Number 2, remember that you should be learning at all times as a leader, that learning should be something that happens for a lifetime. And then 3, get a mentor. Get somebody that can help lead and pour into you and lead the way. So those would be my closing parting words for those of you who are in leadership.
All right. Thank you so much for this bonus: perpetual learning, continuous learning, self-care, and mentorship.
Yeah, you got
Thank you
it.
so much for adding this to the main topic, and team building and collaborations. Thank you. And we are going to increase our networking via this knowledge we, we've gotten from your teachings. Thank you so much once again. We are done with today's webinar. We can always reach out to you whenever we need counsel, whenever we need anything. I'm going to share links of your resources
Yes.
on the platform so that people who watch the replay can access it whenever they want. Thank you so much once again. We would like to take more of your time. We really appreciate all that you have and all that you represent. Thank you, Dr. Morgan.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Have a great day.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. To come to the end of March edition of Purpose, Profit, and Power Leadership webinar, do well to join us in the next series. Do well to join us in the next webinar, as we'll be hosting amazing speakers who would give you all knowledge you need in business, in leadership, in whatever aspects you need that knowledge in. Our speakers are here for you. So don't miss any of this edition. Listen to it during your free time. Share with your colleagues. Share with your colleagues and make the best use of the knowledge you've gotten from all our webinars. We celebrate you. Ain't nothing gonna slow her down. She is a warrior. Warrior. She